My question is, Walter Martin, who is a regular on Trinity Broadcasting Network, known for his anti-Mormon and anti-Jehovah's Witness books and so forth, he believed in the rapture happening at the end of the tribulation period. I'd like to know, what is your take on that?
Okay, your thoughts, John.
Well, I can tell you this. He doesn't believe that anymore. If you know what I mean. I think his theology is correct now because Walter Martin's with the Lord. But I think you could go to that. That's a short answer. But the long answer is, I think there's biblical proof, biblical grounds for the fact that the rapture happens before. You look through the book of Revelation, you read the first 5 chapters, you see the church is mentioned in the beginning, and then you don't see them mentioned again until the second coming. But when you do see them, John describes them around the throne. Revelation 5, every tribe, every tongue, every nation worshiping with a song. Lyrics are given concerning every tribe, every tongue worshiping around the throne of God. There is only one group of people who could sing that song about the redemption and the blood of the Lamb, and that is the Church of Jesus Christ. When are they singing it? They're singing it before the tribulation begins, before the seals are broken, before the trumpets are blown, before the bowls of judgment are poured out. And then it says the church comes back with Christ to rule and reign with him at that final battle of Armageddon. He speaks a word, out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, and with it he strikes the nations, establishes his kingdom. And so I believe it's very clear, not only there, but 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, also 2 Thessalonians points to the fact that the church has to be removed, the spirit working through the church, before the Antichrist can come and deceive the world as the devil incarnate. So, Mike, I believe it's before any of this stuff happens. We are close.
I really appreciate Walter Martin. I knew him personally. He'd been on this radio station. He only was on, I believe, Trinity Broadcasting maybe one time. He was not a regular. When he went on, in fact, it's on there. If you want to watch something really wild and crazy, watch Walter Martin on TBN. Some people recorded that on the old VHS, and they put that on there. And man, I'll tell you, he went after a lot of the health wealth teachers and stuff like that. And as far as I know, he was never invited back on TBN ever again. Walter Martin had a program called The Bible Answer Man. I've had his daughter here on this program as well. And but I think a lot of times people a while ago, I think as it gets closer, it gets a little more clear what's going to happen. Now, remember, Jesus said in Matthew chapter 24, as in the days of Noah were, so will the coming of the Son of Man be. They were eating, drinking, marrying, giving in marriage. When you look at Revelation 16 and you see what the world is like right before Jesus Christ comes back, the second coming of Christ, mere survival is all man has. The oceans turn to blood, all the waters turn to blood, all the trees are burned up. It's not as in the days of Noah were. Because in the days of Noah they were partying down, they were doing their own thing, awaiting an impending global judgment. Today, I believe the rapture of the church is that time where the world is partying down, not realizing there's an impending global judgment called the tribulation period that's going to fall on the earth. And I believe that's what Jesus there is talking about in Matthew chapter 24. Completely different because, again, remember, the rapture, Jesus comes for his saints, and the second coming, he comes back to the world. There's a big difference. The Bible says that the second coming of Christ, every eye will see him. As it tells us, Jesus said, behold, I come as a thief, only those that love him will see him. So there's a two separate event thing there. But again, because a person hold a little bit different view on that doesn't mean that they were bad or whatever. Again, I strongly and highly recommend Kingdom of the Cults by Walter Martin. And
just
again,
say that.
Just
gonna say that book. I mean, as a young pastor, that really opened my eyes to so many things, and I still refer to that to this day. That was an amazing work. That book by Walter Martin.
And what's important about it as you read it, you have to realize that in the Kingdom of the Cults, they use a lot of the same verbiage: Father, forgiveness, Jesus, cross, salvation, with completely different meanings. And so that's why sometimes when we'll talk to somebody, well, they say they believe in Jesus. Well, Paul says in the last days they're going to be preaching a lot of different Jesuses. Which one are they talking about?